Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Arc Reaction, where this week we're discussing Deadly Class by Rick Remender, Wes Craig, and Lee Loughridge. So let me talk about Deadly Class, and mainly I'm going to jump in and talk about Marcus, the main character. You see, I hate him. He's a little brat that I just despise, and if he were to drop dead, I wouldn't really care. But the good news is that I think I'm not supposed to like him because he's written well. It makes me think of Holden from Catcher in the Rye. You know, they say you're not supposed to go back and read Catcher in the Rye as an adult because you're just not going to like him. And that's what this feels like. This guy is all teenage angst, and I just can't stand it. The good news is that in the second story arc, he's actually starting to become a real character. He's becoming a real boy. And that's what I'm here to talk about today, the second story arc. So the second story arc is really about a bit about Marcus's past in the orphanage where he was abused and lived with a terrible roommate, lovingly called Fuckface. That's not my name, that's Remender's. And this is really a story, the main plot of the story is the conflict between Fuckface and Marcus. And that's fine. But what makes this story really good is the love triangle that they develop pretty quickly between Marcus, Saya, and Marcus's girlfriend, Maria. And it works because there's some really great scenes that they do here. There's a nice slam dance scene. There's a nice scene actually after, spoilers, Marcus sleeps with Saya. There is a moment where he actually feels fucking terrible and goes running off, having no idea what he's done and just deep in regret, and it actually makes me empathize with him a little. You know, oh, he feels bad and guilt and things. That means he's a real human being with emotions and stuff. So, and there's some other scenes through this, but I really feel like they're starting to shape Marcus into a real character with Saya and Maria to sort of help build him up into something. And their interactions are wonderful, down to the final confrontation with Fuckface. It all sort of comes together, and I love it. But this isn't a lovey-dovey story. I mean, this is, let's put it this way. Rick Remender and Wes Craig, they're sick fucks. The last showdown is just, there's some nasty, violent stuff. There's lots of just juvenile humor, and it can be a bit rough to read if you can't put up with that. But I'm fine with that personally, and it's still funny. There's a certain biographical element that Remender talks about in the letter section that you sort of feel, even though there's like a scene where Marcus shits himself. And it really does not much to move the story forward other than sort of a big jokey scene, but you get the feeling that probably happened to Remender somewhere. And this is him telling that story perhaps a little more beautifully than it happened in reality. So really this is a story that focuses on the punk aspects of Remender's childhood as he talks about it, and for Marcus, the punk aspects of everything is really a huge part of building up this character and the surrounding characters. So that comes through with the violence and the crudeness, and even in the art, it's not pretty art, but it is good art, if that makes sense. The characters aren't necessarily pretty, but they're a little rough, but it works, especially when you get into the Fuckface's gang, where they're all, you know, rednecks and stuff, and they have a lot of fun with it. The best thing I can say about this book is that as I've given it a lot of thought for this reaction, I have come to like it a lot more than when I started. I finished the book and I was like, okay, that was interesting, but I sort of expected something more. But as I've really sort of thought about it, I want to read more. It's good, and I think that's the best thing I can say about a book is that as I sit on it, it becomes better. So go check it out. And while you're checking it out, you should also remember to subscribe to this lovely channel, check out my article, follow us on social media, and we will see you in the future.
Goodbye.